Welcome back once again, all of my low carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Today I have another delicious cookie recipe for you. Today I am going to show you how to make the easiest and the best keto chocolate chip cookies. These are incredibly easy and so tasty. And if you want a printable version of this recipe, you can check out my website at janet'sdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find a printable version of this recipe and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious, low-carb keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you'd like to help support the channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using those affiliate links, a small portion of your purchase will go to me and help support the channel. So, while we do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 375 degrees. Line 2 large baking sheets with parchment or silicone baking mats. Then set them aside for just a minute. Place 1/2 cup of very soft room temperature butter into a large mixer bowl. You don't want this to be melted, you just want the butter to be very soft so that it beats in smoothly. Beat on low for about 10 seconds or just until the butter starts breaking up a little bit. Then increase the speed to medium and beat on medium for about 45 seconds to 1 minute or until the butter is smooth and creamy. If you don't have a standing mixer, you can use a hand mixer or just a wooden spoon. Just make sure that your butter is smooth and creamy when you get done mixing it. Scrape down the sides of the bowl and push the butter to the center of the bowl. Add 2 large room temperature eggs. Make sure they are room temperature so they beat in more smooth. Beat the eggs on low for about 10 seconds or just until they start combining with the butter. Then increase the speed to medium-low and beat on medium-low for about 30 seconds or so or just until the butter and the eggs are fully combined. Scrape down the sides of the bowl and again push the mixture to the center of the bowl. Add 31 grams or around 2 tablespoons of room temperature plain yogurt or sour cream. Again, make sure this is room temperature. Room temperature ingredients combine better, which make for a smoother dough, which make for a smoother cookie. Add 6 grams or around 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract or the extract of your choice. If you want your chocolate chip cookies to have a little bit of a different flavor, you can add any flavor of extract. You can also adjust this more or less depending on how dominant you want your extract flavor to be in your cookies. Beat on low for about 10 seconds or just until everything begins to combine. Then increase your speed to medium-low and beat on medium-low for about 30 seconds or so or until everything is fully combined. Again, scrape down the sides of the bowl and push the mixture to the center of the bowl. Sift in about 91 grams or about a 1/2 cup of the brown sugar sweetener of your choice. I'm using brown monk fruit sweetener. You can use whatever brown sugar sweetener you want. You can also adjust this more or less depending on how sweet you want your cookies. Add 25 grams or around 2 tablespoons of the granulated sweetener of your choice. I'm using granulated monk fruit sweetener. Again, you can use whatever sweetener you want. You can also, again, adjust this more or less depending on how sweet you want your cookies. Add 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 8 grams or around 1½ teaspoons of baking powder. Sift these into the wet ingredients until everything is fully combined and there are no lumps in the dry ingredients. Beat on low again for about 10 seconds or just until the dry ingredients start becoming moist. Then increase your speed again to medium-low and beat on medium-low for another 30 seconds or so or until everything is fully combined. And once again, scrape down the sides of the bowl and push your mixture to the center of the bowl. Sift in 70 grams or around 10 tablespoons of coconut flour. Sift it in until there are no lumps in the coconut flour. Now, if you don't have a sifter or a mesh strainer, Then combine all of your dry ingredients into a separate bowl and whisk it all together until there are no lumps in your dry ingredients before you add the dry ingredients to your wet ingredients. You want to make sure that your dry ingredients are completely lump-free. That way, everything combines more smooth and you don't have to worry about there being chunks in your dough. Beat everything together on low for about 10 seconds or just until all the coconut flour starts combining. Then increase your speed to medium and beat on medium for about 30 to 45 seconds or until everything is fully combined and you have a smooth dough that is formed. Once everything is fully combined and you have a smooth dough, again, you're going to scrape down the sides of the bowl and push the dough to the center of the bowl. Form your dough into a smooth ball. Then massage the dough ball in your hands for about 30 seconds or so. This is just going to make sure that you have the right texture of dough. Your dough should be lightly moist and should be holding its shape really well as you're massaging the dough. It should not be sticking to your hands and there should not be chunks falling off. If it's sticking to your hands, that means it's a little bit too moist and you need to add just a tiny bit more coconut flour. If chunks are falling off and it feels dry, then that means you need to add a little bit of room temperature milk or water until the dough comes together and holds its shape. I tell you guys all the time and will continue to always tell you, coconut flour, the amount of moisture that you need in coconut flour baked goods can vary depending on the density of your coconut flour. If your coconut flour is more dense, you need a little bit more moisture. If it's more fine, then you may need a little less moisture. For me, it's perfect just the way it is. I don't need to add anything. Once you have the right texture, form the dough back into a ball and put it back into your mixing bowl. Use a wooden spoon and break up your dough just a little bit. Gradually fold in 6 ounces or around 1 cup of the Keto chocolate chips of your choice. I'm actually using a mix of Lily's Keto milk chocolate chips and white chocolate chips. You can use any flavor of chips you want. You can also adjust it more or less depending on how many chocolate chips you want in your cookies. Make sure when you're folding in the chocolate chips, you gradually do it in small portions. You don't want to just dump it in at once. If you do that, then your chocolate chips don't really get evenly distributed throughout your dough. So just in small amounts, gradually fold it in until all the chocolate chips are fully combined and evenly distributed throughout the dough. Scoop the dough out 1 tablespoon at a time onto your prepared baking sheet. Roll each dough scoop into a smooth, tight ball. Then place the dough ball back onto your baking sheet around 2 inches apart. You want to give yourself some room to be able to shape your dough. Press and shape each dough ball into your desired shape and your desired level of thickness. Coconut flour cookies, they really don't expand very much. They puff up just a tiny bit, but they really don't expand very much. So pretty much whatever shape and thickness you press the dough balls out, that's pretty much what they're going to come out looking like once they're done baking. Also, when you are shaping these, make sure you always keep a little bit of space in between each cookie. That way, each cookie gets air going around it and you get a good even cook on each cookie. And as I said, these do expand just a little bit, so you want to make sure there is space in between each cookie. Once your cookies are all shaped to your desired thickness, place them in your preheated oven and bake at 375 degrees for 8 to 12 minutes or until the cookies are golden around the edges. Now, the time on these cookies can vary depending on how soft or how crispy you like your cookies. The longer they cook, the more crispy your cookies are going to become once they're baked and cooled. I like mine to be firm but still have a little bit of softness to them, so for me, 10 minutes was perfect. Once your cookies are all baked, remove them from the oven. They still will be a little bit soft, but they will firm up as they cool. So allow them to cool on the pan for about 10 minutes so they can continue cooking a little bit and they can firm up. Once the cookies have firmed up, remove them from your baking sheet and transfer them to a wire rack, then allow them to cool completely before serving. Once the cookies have cooled completely, Place them on the serving platter of your choice. You can eat them immediately. If you do have any leftovers, store them in an airtight container at room temperature for up to 5 days, or in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 1 week, or wrap them, place them in an airtight container in your freezer for up to 3 months. Eat and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.